Bienvenido. Hope you can hear me. Yeah. So let's start. Let's start. There we go. Yes, yes, yes. What's up? I'm not gonna come on. I'm not gonna come on. Let me see one second. It's gonna be difficult for me to come on right now because my grandson is sleeping and he's trying to go to bed, sleep. Even though tomorrow there's no school or nothing, but yeah, it's dark in this room, so I just don't want to put on the light. But I wanted to keep it. Well, I want to speak on some things, and then we'll take into the sexy things and the creativity and the finance, because we're gonna continue on this sacral Januz of the sex. Áazub. We're back. Give me a second. I'm trying to bring up to see if anybody else is online here. I know it's late. I usually don't get on here late, but I'm here now. You know what I'm saying? Get on here late. Yeah, here it is. All right. Seems to be nobody on here. Just one person. That's cool. Um, get some blessings. Well, the music's a little low. Well, so we discussed about sexuality. Number one, we're gonna go into that later. Keep it really really sexy. We talk about creativity and how important how creativity. It's an expression, sacred pleasure. Because remember, this is a center that deals with pleasure, and this pleasure, this amusement, pleasure, can be offset by guilt. So creativity also works the same way. You know what I'm saying? When you deal with this particular energy center, it's an expression. It is all tied in with the sex force. Then of course you got finance. Let me tell you something. Wow, finance, fiance, financial stability, and financial knowledge. Our community are broken. Our families are broken because, again, we didn't educate, or some of us did, but then the majority of us, just that education was just not prevalent, wasn't given from birth. The community has been purposely broken. The education has been broken because they took the education out of the personal settings. Because before, people used to be in the old days, people were educated in the churches, right, in the communities. But then when they brought in the administration and they started this public school, you get it? Public school is to make you a public person, a citizen, and citizens make good soldiers. They had to break down the very fabric of your tribalness, right, which goes into the root, and your family. And the way they did that is by causing an imbalancement in the sexual organs and the way we handle our sexuality, the way we handle our creativity also, our music, our art, the way we handle that. A lot of sculptures has been taken away. A lot of sculptures has been taken away from native tribal people. I one time walked into a lawyer's who owned a record company. A matter of fact, who was it? Motley Crue? Yeah. He was the producer for Motley Crue, producing the rock world. And he was also a lawyer, because a lot of these lawyers also, they became managers and formed record companies, Park Studios and big studios and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting in this man's office and we're discussing about a video shoot that we was going to do for Sony Latin when I was starting to do some stuff with Sony Latin. And I looked over like that and I see a little figurine and I was like, yo, that's an interesting figurine. It caught my attention. The sculpture, this figurine. And he says, oh yeah, that came from you from Puerto Rico? I said, yeah, my parents are from the island of Borinquen, yeah. He said, oh yeah, I got that that's an artifact I got from your island. I'm like, what is an artifact like that doing in this man table as a paperweight? See? I looked at him and I looked at that and I was like, in my mind, I was like, that's like an insult. Somebody else would be like, oh, it's just paperweight. It's just, no, this is our creativity. We don't handle this. That's the reason why I rock with the Confederation of Taino People. The members, I'm a member of the Confederation of Taino People because the fight, the narrative, the plight that is being known in the General Assembly is that we have to preserve our artifacts. We want all those artifacts they took from the island, we want it back in the island, because those museums is going to become an institution where your legacy, see, it deals all with this sexual expression. Your legacy, your procreation, the legacy has a lot to deal with that, and then finance. Right now, I'm not gonna tell you my personal life, not me personally, but my family life. But we're going through a situation right now, right? A very prominent member of my family, right, worked so hard for so many years, did exactly what they needed to do in terms of being so complicit to society and doing the right move, getting an education in college, getting a master's degree, doing what they needed to do, right? And then when they retire, they're getting a pension and they get into a property. They buy a townhouse, a property. But let me tell you something about the mortgage company, that the banks, especially like that's Chase Bank and Bank of America, these banks, their purpose is to kill your finance. Kill it. Because when you study about that, how a signature creates the money. But here they switch a rule, they put a switch on you and act like they're lending you money. Or you're not an owner of this property, right? Even though you signed and that shit already, it's yours. You signed it, right? But no. It goes really deep. It goes deep when you really study this science, how banks work. And we know this, but what can we do about it? Because they're in bed with the government. They're the biggest lobbyists. They're the one that get bailed out all the time. But here you have a person that worked so hard. And now the insurance are in bed with the banks, everybody. And now the amount of money that's put on top of their mortgage is astronomical. So now they have to worry about he had worked so hard and everything, and now I have to live with in the back of my mind this fear of being homeless, which for my family members, that's an impossibility. I don't care. I'll throw people out of my house to put this person in my house, to be honest with you. This person get first dib in my house. That's the way I am. But still, working so hard and doing the right moves, and these government and in bed with the banks, and this is what they do. Then mort means death. They're killing your finance, because a lot of times what happens, if the relationship is not up on it, they get stuck in a big mortgage, and now they both have to go out there and work. And then when things don't happen right, there's fighting in the family. You understand? This society is broken. It's you have to find your way around it and be knowledgeable. But the minute you slip, they want to squash you like a freaking cockroach. That's how they get down. Yeah. So they, because they know, they're aware, because they educated you. Banks are the one that funds the money for build these schools and so and so and so. They're in bed with each other. That's what they do. And so they got to make sure that you're getting a public education, that that you're not going to be up on it. Very few do when they go out of the box, when they step out of it. When they step out of the box, then they'll be able to see it and be able to manipulate their way through. But then again, the minute they catch you a little slip, they want to squash you like a cockroach. It's the way they get down, bro. It's the way they get down. And all this has to do, again, the reason why they treat us like that is because they know, one, we got bad sexual practice. Our communities are broken. Our families are broken. They know this because they engineer it like that. They engineer this like that. And when I say they, I'm talking about, yes, those big corporations, those antisocial people that sits in these corporations, CEOs, right? And they don't care about nobody else. Once in a while, they become philanthropists and they do this and this and that, right? Just to get that tax write-off. See, they're moving a certain way. But what we have is our soul. What we have is, again, we got to get that family structure. So yes, we're going through a little something in my family, but we're sitting down together. I'm definitely going to push the envelope on this. We got to put our heads together. Now we got to make certain moves, man. We need to correct things because no one should be living like that. No one. They have us signed. They had our parents sign this get a social security number, sign this bond, this birth certificate, this bond that they holding in certain banks. I research all of that. You know who holds my social security? That bank routing from the birth certificate, because it has a QSIP number. It deals also with bond, because that's what they use to print money. The Bank of Kentucky. What the hell do I know? I've never been to Kentucky. I wasn't born in Kentucky. What the hell is who issued the bond is a bank in Kentucky. You see? They're not going to issue it in New York because I'm born in New York, because I'm going to have access to that. You know what I'm saying? But no, Kentucky. Research this and you're going to see, you're going to be like, wow, these are layers. And so the first step, again, is our sexual practice. Because once we respect that and we carry it in a sacredness way and we respect that, they're not going to F with you, bro. Because they know that you're building your family structure and you're now discussing financial situations with the family. The sex point. Show me a person that handles their sex life really good in bed, and I show you a very financial stable person who has a healthy family and healthy life. Things ain't kumbaya, but at least you tilting it over to a more positive use. You know, our sexual practice. I mean, we got children born from people getting together having sex behind the bushes or in the back of a Volkswagen, or in a slinky hotel. You know, or bad situation, or all doped up, smoked up, doped up, liquored up, all those spiritual nitrates, spiritual caca. They're taking all of that in, and that's the outcome. You got to correct that. When it comes to having sex, man, and you having sex to create, to establish your family, to amplify that and to stabilize your family, then it has to be done without any of those spiritual nitrates. And that is no alcohol, no nicotine, no cursing, not having sex in a damn cemetery. You got people that have sex in a freaking cemetery. Okay? Engulfing all of that. It's just real, man. Now, if you're going to practice left-hand sex magic and you want to get down with that Babylonian left-hand sex magic, then of course, yeah. You know? You just throwing hey, that's how you want to get down. That's how you get down. You throw all that away. But you're not going to build no family structure like that. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to contribute to the benefit of society or to humanity, to the planet. You're caught up in spiritual caca. You're stinking up the place. You know? It's crazy. It's crazy. So, you know. And again, you know. So talking about, let's go down. Let's look at finance first. So we've discussed already how finance is so important, because when you have your finances stable and stability, you're going to have good sex. Trust, you know what I'm saying? And you're going to also be more creative. Creativity. I was watching the Biggie story, even though he did it in a very different way, because, you know, look at the outcome of the lyrics. But remember when he was going to lay down his lyric, what did he do? He got 2 prostitutes and he was having sexual act in the booth, in the studio, until he was ready. You know, they knew innately about this higher science so that he could be creative. And then that's when he came out with Word Up. I forgot the name of the song. I'm a Biggie fan, but I'm not that much of a Biggie fan. You know what I'm saying? I don't idolize these icons, even rappers. Very, very few. The only one right now is KRS-One, because of the content he's giving. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I seen how he moved around. And when he did Criminal Minded, you know, he took another step. But yo, it was real. It was real. It was very, very creative. So again, it's in terms of finance, right? And creativity. Now the sex. In your room, that's your private, that's your harem, that's your private setting. Excuse me. In your private setting, of course, you do creative things. Fruits, grapes. You know, you can have grapes. The lady, your mate, if it's a woman, she could play around with the banana, like, you know, be very seductive. Let me see what you got. Let me see what you got. You know what I'm saying? Oh, here's a little grape. You know, you can eat the grape, but you can also dip it in the sauce. You know what I'm saying? In the women, you can do what you want to do. It's nobody's business. You know what I'm saying? You put some incense on. You put the right type of music. And there are certain practices too, like you can Yeah, there are people that are into spirituality. So, they use the tuning fork, and they tone both of their energy center with each other, facing each other, or they lock each other, not having sexual intercourse, but just lock each other and then chant up to the different energy centers. Imagine this color, imagine this tone and this color, and let's lock in. That's being creative. Hey, what's the purpose of that? Hey, it's conditioning. It's conditioning because you know that in this bedroom, we're going to practice certain things. The lighting is going to be different. The music. People do that automatically sometimes. A care is taken when it comes to sexual practice. But now, it's none of that. Incense, shit. Bedroom smell like shit. You're in a hotel, you're in the back of a car, you're having sex. Your apartment is unkept, and you're having sex in the bed with soiled beddings. You know what I'm saying? So many things. But when you care, again, when you nurture and you care for your environment, and then we spoke about them when we spoke about in the root. So it's very attached to the sex energy, right? The amount of care that you give, and women know this. I had a cousin that was an nymphomaniac. She'll tell you that. They had the water bed and everything, and the lighting is right, blah, blah, blah. And that's what she entertained her dude. It's a science, even though you got to be careful with that. But when you do it with family and tribal and nation in mind, it becomes a powerful force. A powerful force. And a lot of pimps know this. I've been to houses where the guy was a pimp, and the way he had his apartment decked out, and I was like, wow. All these different hanging chairs and stuff like that. I'm like, wow, man. Yeah. And you're like, man, this guy got this down to an art. But it taught me something. See, that was the world he was in. And that's how he wove these women. And I'm not saying that that's the way it should be, to wove the woman and to trap her into this. No, when you do it the right way, and you're building family and tribe, you got your mate, and this is how, it's a beautiful thing. But we learn by our mistakes. We learn not, again, for the youth, is educating them to look at this center, this sex, this part of your life as sacredness. Sacredness, and to be practiced with the sacred. So when your tribe is being educated in that, and then you have your Zed Festival where you meet somebody of the same tribal experience, because to marry out of your tribe, it's a little dangerous unless you're bringing them into the tribe and they're converting. And shout out to brothers. The Zed Festival's coming up. That should be full of kids there, children. And then the family should see how the children, what's up with the families, and think about the future and saying, well, let's see how these two do together, and let's make and the tribe and the family and the tribes nourish those conditions, because it's a tribal thing. Was having our people pay rent to slumlords better? No, that was not better. You need that about that. Yeah, people, paying rent to slumlords. But the slumlords is only slumlords because you allowed them to be a freaking slumlord. And I'm a testament to that, because we lived in the Bronx, and these buildings, if it wasn't for, again, my mother and her friends, college students, and them forming a tenant association and demanding, if not, we ain't gonna pay you no damn rent. We're not until you fix this. And as a matter of fact, we're gonna take the money and we're gonna hire so-and-so to fix it. And we're gonna go by the proper channel. We'll take it to court. And if we don't win in court, we're gonna still do it. The hell with it. We're gonna still do it. Because this is my life. This is my environment. This is where I live, man. And you're gonna have to respect that. See? Don't slumlord. I remember in New York, there was a bunch of Albanians owned the apartment. They bought it from the Greeks and Albanians. And they didn't care because they're like, oh, these are filthy blacks and Puerto Ricans. Black, niggas and spicks. What should we, Crazy. You know what we did? You ain't getting shit from us. And you mess around, we're gonna become squatters. In New York, you was able to squat, and you was able to bring the news. You just make the damn noise if that's the route you want to go. But it's best when we own our own community, and buy those buildings and own our own communities, and make sure that we don't become slumlords to our neighbors or people in our properties. Man, I remember working with my stepfather, who was a landlord, and we would go in, man. One time for Christmas, we did not even go home for Christmas night for the celebration, because there was already a party. We did not go home until we made sure the people in that building had heat, because there was a problem with the boiler. And my job was to go down there and put coal into that boiler and get that shit popping once they fixed it. And get it. Well, I'm telling you, the boiler room, whether you and the furnace, you had to put shovel coal into the damn furnace to give them people heat for their Christmas Eve. And we didn't get home till after Christmas Eve late, but we made sure that you're gonna have it. That's I appreciate that so much. I learned so much, and that just taught me some character. Like, yo. So I understand what you're saying now. Darrell. Yeah. The banks, let me tell you something. You pay rent to the bank, right? So I think that's what you're getting at. Is it better than from the slumlords? Right. But when you talk about slumlords, that's what's in the past. When the bank came into it, the slumlord, they definitely they upped the rent on you. Astronomically up on you, because now the bank was involved. See? Before with the slumlords, you could fight back. And you could say this and this and that. And it was independent landlords, independently. But with the banks, man, they came in there, and if they had to renovate, they jacked up. That's where you get this regentification going on all over the New York. So you really, really have to think about that one. I'd rather pay rent to an independent landlord, a person of property, as long as I have respect for my environment and they know that. And we have an agreement with each other that I'm going to maintain my environment and treat it sacred. At the same time, you're going to handle the finance end of things and provide certain things that this building's going to need. But with the banks, and that all happened when the whole, Trump son-in-law and Trump, that all shifted when they got involved in it. Because now they started bringing in the banks. See? Some of the landlords said, I'll let the bank collect. Because they're more shrewd. They don't have a personal relationship with you that you're renting. The banks don't have that personal relationship. You're just another number for them. You're just another number. So listen, if it's better for you, again, it starts with you and how you carry yourself. But the banks, they don't care how you carry, because they're looking at figures. See, they got people in cubicle. They're looking at figures. They're not looking at you, and they don't know anything about you except for what you put down on paper, but they're looking at the figures. And then they're matching it with the figures in that community. And hey, they're getting ready to put a Starbucks over here. We need to get another different type of clientele. They're working together on this. So what do you think Starbucks, those owners of Starbucks, got their money from the banks? This is all a concentrated effort, all right, to control society. But then you say to yourself, but what's in it for us? We've been here for thousands of years. What's in it for us? You know? They'll get mad when you link up with Africa and you get the resources of Africa and bring it here to the United States and start building. Ooh, they don't like that. Look at what happened in Eastern Georgia with our sovereign Grand Commander, His Excellency Malachi Zadok Kobina York. 720 degrees. Look what happened with the brothers down there in Eastern. Look also what happened in Ansar over there in Bushwick. How to leave. But today, those buildings are there and they're worth a lot. That's an investment. And it's worth a lot of money. Those Bushwick, those brownstones. And that's just a few, because at one time it was a lot of more brownstone that our master teacher brought, that we brought as a community, and with the help also with Saeed Sadiq. You see, when you bring in that, they don't like that. So they were watching us from day one, man. Day one, they've been watching us. They were seeing, and then looking at in Georgia when he wanted to bring all those houses, those portable houses. Excuse me. So is it better to pay rent to slumlords? Sometimes it could be, because it depends on you. They're only slumlords because you allow them to be slumlords. Because I've been in that situation, let me tell you. I've been in that situation where we had to put the slumlord on against the wall. Yo, what's up? We create our own association, our own protection, security. We did it. We made sure that the super had everything he needed to keep those stairs in the building clean. Right? And have security to make sure nobody goes and throw garbage underneath the damn staircase or piss underneath the staircase. If anybody know about New York or in this big city, how people be pissing behind the staircase. Or they're so lazy that they'll throw the garbage underneath the staircase. Are you serious? When you don't care, of course, the landlord ain't gonna care. It's gonna be a slumlord. But when you do care, at least with a slumlord, but you can't do that with a bank. Because the bank are backed up by government, law enforcement, and government. They'll be quick to slap an eviction notice on you. And a slumlord can do the same thing. They have to go to court and this and that. But the bank, they are the courts. You know what I'm saying? Because they painted it like, well, we got to make these moves to better the community. But they don't care who you are at all. I'm wondering why you said that, Daryl. Do you work for the banks, or do you work for the industry? Because it's funny that you would say that. But hey, much love. Like I said, this again the core of it has to do the way we handle our sexuality, how we handle our creativity, and how we handle our finance. That's this, what they call sacral energy center. And when I say that energy center, I'm talking about etherically, because ether is energy, right? Ether in motions is emotions. It's etheric. You know what I'm saying? It's an energy force. It's all around you. And so this is a force within us that expresses itself in our sexuality, in our creativity, and in our finance. We transform ourselves. Sex is used to transform also. Creativity to transform the tribe, community, and the finance used to transform. All interconnected. And it helps guard the shadow. It's Anubis, represented by the Anubis, Anpu. It guards that shadow self, what they call that mental dead. The Duat is the mental dead. It's the underworld of the mental dead, where you got vampires and where people, that are preying on other people, and people that suck in the life of other people. That's why they made that movie, The Underworld, where you look deep into it. That's the Duat. That's what we're going through now. Talking in terms of comedic science. And in Nile Valley, this was so sacred that they had Temple of Hathor that was specifically made for fraternity. It was a fraternity clinic. That the sacredness of sex, right, was guarded and was amplified in that Temple of Hathor. That those priests there, those scribes, those priests, were where you went to because it was so sacred that there were elders that you had to discuss things. It still happens today in Africa. You got certain families, certain royal houses that won't marry just anybody. They'll marry into another royal house, and they do a genealogy blueprint, a genetic blueprint of that, ancestral pattern. They check all of that out before any marriage or jump into fiance or engagement, or anything like that. Before you engage, they're gonna look you up. They're gonna look up your family structure, family history, the house, what house you belong to. That's how we should be. The house of Yananin, right? The Tentakidar, the house of Yananin. When we think like that, and we know that my royal family, my grandkids, not gonna marry anybody outside the tribe. I messed up with my kids, but my family, no. We're gonna find somebody in that tribe that I know I can connect back. I know that family, and I can connect back. You know what I'm saying? And I have to see, because not everything in Kumbaya. You got people that was brought up Ansars and families that are very instrumental and all messed up. But you see, our structure was again messed up. We got to repair all that. Have to repair it. I like it when the brothers and sisters, and there are a lot of brothers and sisters out there, Sabians and Nuwapi, but that practice that. They know families. Like this brother, he knew his father was Ansar back in the day, and this sister, her mother, her father, they were Ansar, and they know each other, and they go to the same temple. You know what I'm saying? There is a community, a commune. You know what I'm saying? That's the best scenario. There's a lot of sisters like that are married, engaged, or married to brothers that are of the same tribe. See, I went out of my tribe, but I brought in my mate to the tribe and told her, if you want to get down with me, you got to understand where I'm coming from. You see? But to be really, really connected with other families and stuff, no, I kind of like strayed away from that. But now I'm seeing the importance. Sometimes you step away and you see the importance of this, because it repairs, it transforms us, it repairs us. It repairs us, and that's the beauty of it. Musar, that's the beauty of sticking together. You know? If ever I'm blessed with another mate, I'm sorry. She's gotta be from the tribe. She's gotta be from the tribe. She's gotta connect back into either answer. She gotta be from the tribe somehow. And that's what I plan for the future of my granddaughters and my grandson. Is I gotta put them in certain situations when I say, oh, okay, at the same age and kids are playing and you like that, okay, and they build that affinity and build that community. Build that community. It's so important. And I'm only saying this because, again, you learn from your errors. But as we go on and we go deep into this, and we get to see even our sexual practice, how we pass up. I dropped the ball. There wasn't all that. I mean, there was. Let me tell you something. When I practice the proper sacredness of my sexual practice, man, my house bloomed. It was a beautiful thing. But then there was other things. You see, you have to do it in a community setting also, because when you do it in a community that's alien and is not part of that culture or that practice, it could be a little dangerous. People are nosy. People want to know things. People are nosy. People interject. People will block you. People will put themselves in the mix to destroy your relationship and family structure. People out there don't care. Why? Because they're in that condition. They're not educated in this. They're just not. Again, this was public education. Make them public. I'm on the side of the private education. Community, private. It should be, your children should be taught certain things only by your tribe and your family, not by the administration. No. Sex education, anything on tribal or culture, that should not be. Look what happened when they taught us about social studies. And then they had to correct that. And now they brought in the African experience when you had teachers coming out, right, in New York. And now look what they're trying to do now again, is take that back out. Because it's racial unbiasedness and stuff like that. You know? We live in a broken world. I don't live in it because I'm repairing my world. But we've been products of a broken society, broken community, broken family, broken tribe. And I'm tired of it. Tired of it. It doesn't have to be like this. I'm tired of it. To the young men out there, man, you got your finance going and everything. Find yourself a mate, somebody from the tribe, again, who resonate with you. And sit down and have that communication and say, okay, at least let's plan this out. If we make mistakes along the way, but we correct it when we get back on the plan. We got to have that template. And you stick with that. And you constantly postulate that. You create creativity is at this point right now. Creativity. And the young women out there too. There's, if you're in Nuwapi and Sabian, there's the ball. There's a Zet festival. Whatever, right? I'm not saying they're just going there planning to find a mate. You know what I'm saying? But you never know. You get around and family know family and say, hey, listen, she'll be great for this person. Because the elders will do that. They'll match you up and say, hey, baby, and by the way, he's in Nuwapi. That's how it gets started. I'm telling you, you're not going to get the respect. You're not going to get the respect from other cultures and other people out there that are not part of your tribe and community. You're not going to get that respect. It's going to move you away. It's something that in 2022, we got to have this talk. But this is the way this is the way a lot of culture does it, man. When you look at royalty, right now, I'm dealing with the Empress of Saba, the Empress of Sheba, Saba, and the African Kingdom Federation. Because it is consisting of an empire. The Federation of the South is becoming an empire. Because you got all these chiefs and you got well, I'm telling you, we're just getting lessons right now. Things been closed, but I can reveal to you a lot of the lessons that we get in Ambassador Lounge and the pictures of certain chiefs and certain connections we have with the chief in Ghana, Akan people. And they're asking for us ambassadors to help them in moving into this new era the right way. And that's why I do part of this podcast, is to also, speak about things that we need to look at, and we definitely need to re-educate our youth to know certain things of how important and sacred is sex, the science of sex, as opposed to the art of sex. You can give them the art of sex. That's simple. You know what I'm saying? You can be creative. That's simple, man. I never read a book in anything, but when I was in my days, man, bro, out of the blue, I was in certain positions like, damn, I was knocking it down, y'all. Knocking it down. And today I'll knock it down. You know what I'm saying? But it's the thing that, so that's easy. It's the science of sex is what we've been lacking. And we didn't pay attention to. We didn't pay attention to that. That's where the problem comes in. Well, we didn't pay attention to that. And now we gotta look at the mistakes we made. Now we gotta look at our children and say, well, damn, my daughter's getting to a certain age, my son's getting to a certain age, and this, and oh man, she's gonna be sexual active. I'm gonna make sure I gotta protect her. Have some boy knocking on your door with a little lump, with a little lump in his pants. What is that? A cucumber? What is that? A pencil in your freaking? And you got a pencil in your pocket? What the hell, man? You better get out of here. You know what I'm saying? I know, because I was there. Been knocking on my neighbor's door to see my girl back in the day. Yeah. Trying to hide that lump I had down there, because I knew we were going to go downstairs, and I knew we were going to experiment. Yeah, experiment. I was 17 years old and she was 15. So you experiment. But you don't want that. I didn't wind up with her. I mean, those are experiences that you say, oh, wow. But for what? It burns out. It burns out. What has that really done for you? But put in another situation where the sacredness of that, oh man, I would achieve more in life. And that's what they said. These young people got these hormones and shit, the puberty just busting out of their heads and shit, bumping pimples, you know what I'm saying, busting out of their body and shit. It's a natural urge. It's natural urge, but it's unnatural to abuse it and to misuse it. That's unnatural. I watch Animal Kingdom, and you see the gorilla and the way he handles his mates and stuff like that. The baboon, Baboon are interesting creatures when you look at it. Even lions, interesting. Certain animals that you watch to see how they're looking at it sacredness. They're doing it for procreation and sexualness. But now you want to be a dog and start humping on everything. Boom, boom, boom. When they're canine. And that's what happened. These beings, simian beings, had a different practice, and a lot of that became part of who we are. And so, but we got to look at the Nataru side of us, the higher side of us. You know what I'm saying? Noon science again. And that's what teaches us the science of sex, because it creates, I'm telling you, the stability of the family. It transforms the family, the finance. You show me a healthy sex life and in the family and everything, and I show you everybody doing what they need to do in the finances then. Because they want to uphold that. They want to keep that. So they're going to pay very much attention to their finance and their creativity. How creative can we get in this family? What do we have to do? I'm ready to sit down with my sisters and brothers and get creative to figure out, what better conditions we can give to our family member that is right now stressing. And I don't want to see that. Me, with the little bit I have, I live like a king. I'm telling you right now. The little bit I have, I like a king. You know why? And I made this post before about poverty. That is a social construct. Poverty is an illusion. Because if you look at it, you live in a submerged in particles, viruses, bacteria, nature. You're surrounded by so much abundance that the act of poverty, of saying you lacking this, is unnatural. Unnatural. Deals a lot with this energy center. When you realize the abundance, I have an abundance of feelings, an abundance of emotion to share with my future mate. No one can stop. You got to think like our children's got to be the same way. No lack of. Because once you start saying you lack, you want, you need, you lack, you create that groove within your mind. But once you say, man, there's an abundance here. All I have to do is again get that formless and put it into form. Be creative. It's pleasurable to be creative. And when you become creative, pleasure, make sure that you got to be careful with the guilt that it can manifest. Same thing with finance. Some people get so caught up in the pleasure of finance that they don't realize the guilt. They do things that guilty, that creates that guilty feeling. Same thing with sexuality. You involve some of the pleasure, but then it's that guilty feeling, right? It's about limiting that guilt. That's the shadow, you see? Limiting that amount of guilt. Wow, nobody loves me out here. It's okay. This is all recorded, and this is there for you at your leisure. At your leisure. That's why sometimes I don't even put my phone. I don't even put the link. But people don't. For some reason, people don't like to come in and have a discussion with me. I mean, when I used to do my musical, which I'm gonna start again on CeeLo's Musical Chronicles and interview musicians and stuff. But then I had musicians that didn't even want to be interviewed by me because of the questions. They're just afraid. Because again, they hide behind this. They hiding something, and they think that I'm gonna bring that out. And no, I got respect. If you don't want to reveal something, you want to hide it, that's on you. I don't care. I'm not the most intelligent person out here, man. I'm learning just as you. And I know how to have conversation with people ask questions, and have conversation. People with this is an exchange backwards and forward. Shout out to Hansu Niame Re that we did today. We did the thing on Jabari. And I interviewed him before as an excellent guitar player. And we sit down, we have this discussion back and forth when we do the podcast. You got to check it out. Sometimes now the new currency is attention. You know what I'm saying? That's like seems to be the new currency. So the more people that are tentative and the more people that views your content, that creates a currency. So it just takes, and that's free. You don't have to pay to be attentive to a person, someone else, to just give a little bit of your time to look at the podcast. You don't have to pay for that. To hit the like button, you don't have to pay for that. That's free. But people are so, I don't know, call it jealousy. I don't know what it is to say, but let me tell you something. Abdul Haq, right? Thank you. So say people, I'm casting this simultaneously. I got Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So so it's spread out. You know what I'm saying? It's just not one central thing. But I always let everybody know you should also all subscribe to the Silos Conga on YouTube, because sometimes Facebook be tripping. Especially when I do the musical content stuff. Because there's some great music out there. See, I learned a lot. Again, it has to deal with that energy center, with the creativity. And I've learned a lot from music lyrics and music, the tones. Because, sounds are carriers of consciousness. And the different tones and the rhythms and the lyrics especially, man. So you learn a lot. You learn a lot from it. So yeah, I mean, again, sex is power. It's a power that we have to learn how to use that power the right way, the natural way. Just like your mind is a power, and you have to learn how to use your mind too. And when you well balanced, and your sex power and your mind power are well balanced, man, it's a beautiful thing. Nafamul, Shay. Nafamul, beautiful. I mean, I've been in a journey in my life. You know what I'm saying? I had a very, very abundance of a sex life, but then right now, in my later age, you know what I'm saying, I learned my lessons. So I'm being real here. I learned my lessons, and now I'm thinking, like, would I ever be able to practice the science of it? And I do now, because I'm not going out there going all crazy and getting procreating in a club. I'm not going out there going to the club and trying. No. Unless we was told, given a task to say, okay, guys, go down to the club. We need some more women in our tribe. We need to bring them on in. But that's a charge, That's like, okay, that's what we got to do. We got to do. And the sisters, okay, we're gonna bring, and it's time for you to school the sister, whatever. Can happen. But then that could be misused, you know what I'm saying, and abused. It has to be in the hands of responsible persons. If ever that was the situation. Sisters get mad at that. Man can do it, why can't we do it? Man is built differently, Even those genetic kids who are equal in that sense, you know what I'm saying? There's still gonna be information, on genetic information shared on both ends, you know. But there's a difference there because a man shoots out and a woman takes in, even though she shoots out too, don't get it wrong. She's got her thing too, she can shoot out. But when it comes to procreating, you know what I'm saying? She has to receive. She's on the receiving end. And the man is in the giving end. You see? But she'll switch that up because she'll give of a nurturing power. And that supersedes all of it. All of it. You know? So, again, being sacred, knowing to teach these young ladies of how, how the eyes can deceive you, and also how to use the eyes to seduce. Again, when you look at that movie Kama Sutra about the feet is a very important thing because it's a sexual thing. You can arouse people with the feet alone. And cultural expression, man, with the henna. You know what I'm saying? There's so many things. Culturally, we have a very rich culture. I remember back in the Ansar days, sisters, when it came to marriage, the henna and the different designs and stuff, it was their form of expressing their creativity, their sexuality. Okay? And the sisters that had the finance could display that more. You know what I'm saying? Display it more. It's all related. It's all related. So yeah, I'm at my hour mark, right? Yes, I am. This is probably I'll probably shoot up to the solar plexus, the solar energy center. Yeah, solar plexus, and willpower, and how that can cast a shadow of shame. But remember, the solar plexus, the sacral, and the root all ties into the earth magnetic field. That's outside of your body, but in your body, only what superimposes it. But all of those elements, all of those precepts of, for instance, willpower and sexuality, and family structure, the root of it, the grounding, and then also the earth, the grounding and the seeding, all of that is submerged within this etheric egg. It's submerged in. That's submerged consciousness. And within the consciousness, submerged in it, is this feeling and energy, emotion. And it deals with that, all those four. Because when it comes to the earth magnetic field, you got ancestral patterns and you got genetic blueprint. And then when you go into the root, you got the family and culture structure. Now we at the sacral. And so you have the sexuality, finance, all related. And then we're going to go up to willpower. And I'll reveal what that deals with. And we got 9. Like those 9, I show you the bar, the boat of Ra, right? The boat, the solar plexus, and the 9, again, innate inspiration that we have that deals also with genetic blueprint, also with the constellations and how that is manifested within us. All right? So let me just leave it there. Man, I'm gonna be up all night. Anyway, I'll probably watch a movie. But listen, again, what I do?